Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly happy without waiting for the perfect moment, the raise, or the relationship? See, life doesn't ask if you're ready before it gets hard. But here's the thing. Happiness isn't the result of easy days. It's the result of intentional choices, especially on the hard ones. Today, let's talk about how pushing yourself to choose happiness daily isn't about pretending everything's okay. It's about building the muscle to face life stronger. You know, one of the most common lies we're told about happiness is that it's waiting for us somewhere else, like it's at the end of a promotion, or after we've healed from a breakup, or when we finally reach the version of ourselves we think is worthy of feeling joy. But the truth is, happiness doesn't sit at the finish line with a trophy. It's not a prize for people who have it all figured out. It's a decision, a daily intentional discipline. And honestly, one of the hardest ones to stick to, especially when life gets loud, messy, and unpredictable. See, we're wired to believe that circumstances dictate how we feel. If life's good, we're allowed to feel good. If life's hard, well, we suffer through it. But what if that whole formula was backwards? What if our mindset isn't just a response to life, but a driver of it? When I talk about pushing yourself to be happy, I don't mean slapping a fake smile on and ignoring your struggles. That's not strength. That's suppression. I'm talking about a quiet internal push, a conscious choice every morning, even on the mornings you'd rather stay under the covers, to look at the day ahead and say, I'm going to find one reason to be grateful, one reason to smile, and one reason to keep going. Even if that reason is as small as a cup of coffee that actually tastes the way it's supposed to, that counts because it tells your mind, hey, we're not giving up today. Say, I get it. There are days when that choice feels impossible. Days when the weight on your chest makes it hard to even breathe, let alone think happy thoughts. But this isn't about forcing positivity where it doesn't belong. It's about reminding yourself that even on the worst days, you still get a say in how your story is written. You still get to decide what kind of person you want to be in the middle of the storm. Happiness as a discipline means showing up for your peace like you would for a workout or a job you care about. Some days it feels natural, and other days it takes everything you've got. But the point is, you still show up. You take ownership of your emotional health. You stop waiting for life to make you feel better, and instead you have decided to do the work that helps you feel better. That could mean journaling, calling a friend, saying no to something that drains you, saying yes to something that fills you up. It's not always glamorous. It's not loud. Most of the time, it's not even visible to anyone else, but it builds something real inside you. Something that doesn't collapse the second life, throws a curveball. And you know what else? When you start treating happiness like a skill, something you practice, not something you wait on, it gives you back a sense of power. You stop feeling like life is happening, life to you, and start realizing it's something you're actively shaping. That mindset shift, that's where growth begins. That's where emotional maturity takes root. Let's not wait to feel better when the world gets easier. Because the truth is, the world's always going to have hard days. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will change. You'll face loss, rejection, frustration. That's life. But if you've trained yourself to anchor into joy, even in small ways, then when those moments hit, you don't sink. You may stumble. You may feel it all, but you won't drown. So no, happiness isn't some final destination we arrive at when everything is perfect. It's a daily commitment to looking for the light, even when things feel dark. It's about pushing yourself gently but firmly to believe that peace is still possible today, not someday, not when it all makes sense. Today, let's talk about something we don't always feel comfortable admitting. Some days just hurt. Not every moment can be fixed with a deep breath and a motivational quote. Life can hit you in the gut, no warning, no preparation. And when it does, you feel it. Disappointment, heartbreak, frustration, grief, those emotions are real. They're valid, and ignoring them, that doesn't make you strong, it makes you numb. See, there's this misconception out there that if we want to be positive or happy, we have to block out anything negative. Like somehow feeling sadness or anger makes us weak or ungrateful. That couldn't be further from the truth. Real emotional strength isn't about pretending things are okay when they're not. It's about allowing yourself to feel what's real and then choosing what to do with it. You're allowed to feel upset when something unfair happens. You're allowed to cry when you lose something that mattered. You're allowed to be angry when life doesn't make sense. Those feelings don't make you broken. They make you human. And giving yourself permission to feel them fully is one of the most powerful things you can do. Because what you feel, you can face. And what you face, you can work through. But here's the key. Don't stay there. Feel the bad, yes. But then you don't build happiness by pretending nothing hurts. You build it by refusing to let that pain control your outlook. That means you acknowledge the weight, but you also make room for the light. You let the tears come and then you look for something, anything to be grateful for in the same moment. But that might sound strange. Why would I think about gratitude when I'm hurting? Because gratitude isn't denial, it's balance. It's how you ground yourself when emotions try to sweep you away. It's how you remind yourself that even in pain, not everything is lost. There's still breath in your lungs. There's still people who care. There's still strength in you that you might not feel right now, but it's there. And I'll tell you this, that shift doesn't always feel good right away. Sometimes it feels like work, but it's worth the work because the alternative is staying stuck. The alternative is letting one bad moment spill into the rest of your day, your week, even your identity, and you deserve better than that. I'm not asking you to fake it. I'm asking you to redirect it. There's a difference. Faking it says nothing's wrong. Redirecting says, yes, this hurts, but it's not going to define me. One is denial. The other is resilience. We've all had those days where one thing goes wrong in the morning and suddenly the whole day feels like a loss. That's not because the day itself was ruined. It's because we never took back the wheel. We stayed in that headspace. We replayed the story. We added fuel to the fire with every thought that followed. But you have the power to stop that spiral. You have the power to interrupt it with something simple as this is hard, but I can still find one good thing today, except maybe that good thing is a short walk, a kind message from a friend, the fact that you got through the last hard day and you can get through this one too. You don't need the whole picture to shift just a piece of it, because once you see one good thing, it's easier to see another. That's how the momentum builds. Feel what you feel. Don't run from it. Don't bury it. But after you've sat with it, move forward. You can carry both truth and hope in the same hand. You can say, this is hard, and still believe, but I'm not done. You can look at your pain without letting it be the only thing you see, because that's how you keep your heart soft and your spirit strong. That's how you push yourself to be happy. Not by avoiding the bad, but by reclaiming the good. Even on the days it's hard, especially on those days. One of the biggest mistakes we make when we talk about happiness is thinking it has to be this big dramatic transformation. Like we have to change everything overnight. Wake up earlier, eat better, fix our relationships, change careers, go on some 30-day mental health boot camp. That's not real life. Real change doesn't come from grand gestures. It comes from small, consistent actions. Tiny habits that may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they start to reshape the way we see ourselves in the world around us. The truth is, we don't need to overhaul everything to feel better. We just need to start somewhere. Something simple, something repeatable, something doable on even the hard days. Because here's the thing, when life is overwhelming, we need something we can actually reach. And small habits, they give us a grip. They anchor us. It might be as basic as waking up and making your bed. Not because your bed being made will change your whole life, but because you started your day with order, with intention. You took control of something. That one act sends a message to your brain. I'm not powerless today. And when you're facing challenges, that message matters more than you think. Maybe your habit is stepping outside for 5 minutes to feel the sun on your face, or drinking water before reaching for your phone, or taking 30 seconds to breathe. Really breathe before responding to that text that triggered you. These aren't life-changing on their own, but they change you. They build your capacity. They give you wins, and those wins stack up. And the more you do them, the more they become part of who you are. Not just things you check off, but evidence that you're showing up for yourself, that you're making space for joy, even in chaos. That's where confidence starts to grow, not from perfection, but from consistency. The beautiful thing about small habits is they don't require ideal conditions. You don't need to feel motivated. You don't need to wait for life to calm down. You don't need a 5-step plan. You just need a reason, one reason to act. And if that reason is I'm worth showing up for, that's enough. We often think the people who are happiest are the ones with the best circumstances. But more often than not, they're the ones who've learned to create rhythms in the middle of the mess. They've learned to ask, what can I do today that supports my peace? Not next month, not when things finally go right. Today, because when you do that, when you commit to one small thing each day that brings you back to yourself, you stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop waiting for happiness to arrive and start cultivating it like a garden. You don't get fruit after one watering. You get it because you kept showing up even when nothing seemed to be growing yet. And if you're wondering what if it's not enough, let me tell you, it is. It is enough to choose something small and choose it every day. That's how momentum works. It's not always fast, but it builds. One good choice leads to another. One kind thought leads to a shift in how you treat yourself. One intentional habit leads to a change in how you handle pressure, stress, relationships. So no, you don't have to fix everything to start feeling better. You just have to start. You just have to pick something that aligns with the person you want to be and do it even when you don't feel like it. Especially then, that's the moment that counts, because the way out of the hard seasons isn't some giant leap. It's 1,000 small steps. Steps that you choose. Steps that say, I matter. My peace matter. My happiness is worth the effort. And when you live like that, when you keep showing up with those little habits, you start to realize something powerful. You're not waiting for happiness anymore. You're building it. Let's be honest. No one gets through life without facing some kind of hard, whether it's heartbreak, failure, loss, or just those silent battles we fight in our heads. Difficulty is part of the deal. And when we hit those moments, the natural response is to slow down, shut down, or just wait it out. We think this is just a rough patch. I'll get back to being myself when this passes. But here's the truth. Those hard days, they're not just interruptions. They're invitations. They're training grounds. See, strength isn't built in ease. It's built in resistance. It's built in the moments when everything feels heavy, but you choose to show up anyway. Those are the moments that grow you. And that's why I believe the hard days matter more than the good ones when it comes to your happiness. Not because they feel good, but because they forge something in you. They reveal what you believe about yourself. They reveal whether you're waiting for life to fix itself before you feel peace again, or whether you're willing to claim that peace in the middle of the storm. You don't become resilient by avoiding the hard stuff. You become resilient by walking through it aware, awake, and still willing to reach for joy. Even if it's a quiet kind of joy, even if it's just the simple act of not giving up. When life is tough, you have two options. You can retreat and hope for better days, or you can lean in and ask, what can this moment teach me? Who am I becoming because of this? And that question right there, that's where transformation begins, because pain without purpose is just suffering, but pain with reflection, that's growth. That's the foundation of emotional strength. Let me be clear. Pushing yourself to be happy on hard days isn't about being fake. It's about refusing to let the difficulty decide your identity. Just because things are falling apart around you doesn't mean they have to fall apart inside you. You still have agency. You still have choices. You still have that quiet authority within you that says, right, yes, this is hard, but I'm still showing up for myself. You're not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You're not behind because you're struggling. We all struggle. What separates people who move forward from those who stay stuck isn't whether life was easy, it's how they responded when it wasn't. And often the strongest people are the ones who made the smallest decisions over and over, not to quit, to do one thing that honored their peace, to hold on to something good, even when everything else felt uncertain. I've seen it over and over. Someone going through the hardest chapter of their life, and yet they're the one encouraging someone else. Why? Because they understand the value of choosing light in darkness. That doesn't mean they're ignoring their own pain. It means they're bigger than it. It means they've trained themselves to find purpose in pressure. And that's a mindset anyone can build. So what if we stopped seeing the hard days as interruptions to our happiness and started seeing them as part of the path to it? What if we stopped saying, I'll be okay when this ends, and started asking, how can I be okay while this is happening? Because let me tell you, if you can choose even a little peace in the middle of the chaos, that's not just power, that's emotional fitness. And just like physical strength, it grows with resistance. It grows when you choose to keep moving, even when it's uphill. No, it's not always fair. No, you didn't ask for the pain, but you do get to decide what it does to you. You can let it harden you, or you can let it sharpen you. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. That choice, it's yours. And when you realize that, when you truly believe that hard days aren't detours, but defining moments, everything changes. You stop bracing for impact and start rising to the challenge. You stop waiting for life to ease up and start becoming someone who can thrive even when it doesn't. We tend to live in this either-or mindset. Either you're doing well or you're struggling. Either you're happy or you're hurting. But life doesn't work that way. Emotions don't show up in neat little boxes, one at a time, waiting their turn. They show up all at once, overlapping, contradicting each other, pulling you in different directions. And that's okay. That's normal. That's human. You can be grateful for what you have and still wish something were different. You can feel joy and sadness in the same breath. You can laugh while your heart's still healing. We don't have to pick one or the other. In fact, the more we try to force ourselves into one emotional category, the more disconnected we feel from what's really going on inside of us. Pushing yourself to be happy doesn't mean shutting the door on anything else you're feeling. It just means making room for something good, even when the hard stuff is still there. It means saying, yes, this hurts, but I'm still allowed to smile. I'm still allowed to enjoy this moment. I'm still allowed to be okay, even if everything isn't perfect. We're so quick to judge ourselves for feeling both, as if being grateful for your life means you're not allowed to feel overwhelmed by it, or as if struggling with something means you're not appreciating what you do have. But the truth is, emotional maturity is being able to hold both, not just one, both. Let's say you're dealing with something heavy. Maybe it's uncertainty about your future. Maybe it's loss. Maybe it's a quiet disappointment you haven't really named yet. And then someone asks how you're doing and you pause because part of you wants to say, honestly, I'm having a tough time. But another part of you also remembers the kind gesture someone showed you this morning, or the progress you've made, or the fact that you've still managed to get out of bed and keep moving forward. That's not confusion. That's complexity. And you're allowed to live there. In fact, the ability to hold both struggle and gratitude at the same time is a kind of strength that doesn't get talked about enough. It means you're not ignoring your pain, but you're not being consumed by it either. You're refusing to let it steal the parts of life that are still beautiful, still meaningful, still worth paying attention to. Sometimes we wait to feel better before we allow ourselves to appreciate anything. But what if it works the other way around? What if noticing what's still good, even while life is hard, is what helps us feel better? Not instantly, not like flipping a switch, but gradually, steadily, like a light that starts to grow when you stop shutting out every beam of hope. So if you find yourself in a difficult season and you also find yourself laughing with a friend or feeling peace during a quiet walk or being moved by a song, don't question that. Don't feel guilty for that. That's your spirit trying to remind you that healing isn't linear, that it's okay to experience light even while you're walking through shadows. This is where we have to give ourselves permission. Permission to be a mix of things, to be strong and struggling, to be grateful and grieving, to be grounded and still figuring it all out. Because when you allow both to exist, you give yourself space to live fully, not just selectively. And I'll be honest, some people might not get that. Some people might think you're supposed to either be broken or completely fine, but you know better. You know that life is led in the in-between, and choosing to make space for both pain and peace. That's not confusing. That's courage. You're not required to have it all together before you claim happiness. You don't have to wait until every burden is lifted before you allow yourself to feel joy. You can feel heavy and still be lighthearted. You can feel lost and still look for what's good. Because real happiness, the kind that lasts, isn't found in pretending everything's fine. It's found in the honest moments where you say that even though life is hard right now, I still believe there's beauty worth noticing. So what does it really mean to push yourself to be happy every day, even when life is hard? It means showing up, not perfectly, but intentionally. It means treating happiness like a muscle, something you work, not something you wait on. It means allowing yourself to feel everything fully and still choosing to shift your focus toward what's good. It's honoring small habits that bring you back to yourself and recognizing that the hard days aren't here to break you. They're here to build you, and above all, it means giving yourself permission to hold both pain and peace in the same breath, without guilt, without explanation. You're not chasing a flawless life, you're learning how to stand steady in the one you've got. And every time you choose joy, even a quiet, imperfect, fragile kind of joy in the middle of the chaos, you're reminding yourself of something powerful. You're not just surviving,